world waiting for you when the time is right. Unfortunately for the rest of the world, the Bahamas is still reeling from this devastation. And Miami station WSVN showed a glimpse of the thousands of folks trying to flee to safety. But some survivors have been kicked off of ferries for not having the right papers. Because I guess sometimes, you know, when the hurricane's coming and you're trying to flee, you might not realize you don't have all the right papers because, of course, your island's being devastated. Yeah. But silly me, why bring that up? And here's you-know-who said he's, well, I'll let you see what he says.
Everybody needs totally proper documentation because the Bahamas had some tremendous problems with people going to the Bahamas that weren't supposed to be there. I don't want to allow people that weren't supposed to be in the Bahamas to come into the United States, including some very bad people and some very bad gang members and some very, very bad drug dealers.
You know, this is a guy who had the Taliban. He's going to have a big meeting with the Taliban. He loves Kim Jong-un and Putin, and yet these people who are fleeing a hurricane are suddenly criminals. He's so despicable, and he makes my head stand up. My hair.
What is also fascinating is he didn't have a problem with the Bahamas when he hosted the 2009 Miss Universe pageant in the Bahamas. And he was tweeting about it and wanted everybody to not only go to the Bahamas, but watch it live. So again, it's the hypocrisy. And I think what is just so terrible is that he does have some people in the administration that are trying to do the right thing. He had his acting head of the Customs and Border Protection Agency. His name's Mark Morgan. He said, this is a humanitarian mission. Even if you don't have the appropriate documentation, you can come to the United States for safety. Couple of minutes later, you have that statement coming from the President of the United States. It's just cruel. It's inhumane.
Well, he's
just lacks humanity.
But he's the person who keeps children in cages. Right. Remember who you're dealing with here.
Well, Marco Rubio and Rick Scott, who are both senators from Florida, wrote an open letter to Trump saying that they would be happy to take people from the Bahamas who have relatives in the United States, even without paperwork, because, again, if your home's flooded, you probably don't have time to get your identification on the way out. I do think when we talk about the border and when we talk about things like natural disasters hitting people's homes, the humanity seems completely removed from it. These are people, God forbid, my house is flooded and I have no place to go. And the best part about America is I still believe, like Ronald Reagan said, we are a shining beacon on a hill. So why can't we help our friends in the Bahamas, who, by the way, help a lot of rich people with taxes and tax shelters down there, and have 6 million Americans coming for tourism every year. So I don't understand why he's not. And Marco Rubio and Rick Scott are Republicans.
Yeah. I think that if they had a hurricane in Norway and they were all coming here, I think he would be fine with that.
I don't know why we're sitting here surprised by this.
We're not surprised by
this seems to be he goes there every time there is a natural disaster or any time there is a problem with refugees or people trying to flee their country. And you're right, this place has always been a beacon on a hill. But where is, as the leader of this country, this is a moment where you speak to them to say, we are here for you. We are thinking about you. You're not welcome.
Here's it. How do you not look at this man and say, this is a racial problem? How do you
I don't think people don't think it's a racial thing.
No, but people are constantly saying, well, you always, talk about race. Yeah. Well, this is a racial card. This is a race card. The card can't get any bigger than this.
Yeah.
This is like
you don't want to constantly
giant,
it out.
How do you,
it's right there.
How are people expected to look at this man who's supposedly leading us and not be taken aback once again by something as critical as, listen, the island's gone. The island is gone.
Looks like a nuclear bomb.
It's horrendous.
And thousands of people are still missing. Thousands.
Yes.
So the toll is going to get higher and higher and higher.
I don't think people disagree. I think about folks in my own.
As a black person, that's what I mean to say. As somebody who's black, who's often told, well, you're just saying he's a racist. I'm not just saying he's a racist. I've always said he was racist.
No, but he is
now.
But the juxtaposition of hypothetically inviting Al Qaeda to Camp David at the same time should not whatever terrorists, any terrorists of any kind. We didn't do it as a hot topic, but what I thought it was a joke, and then I started screaming at my husband because the idea of doing it this close to 9/11, and at the same time you're saying these people are gang members. Right. You can juxtapose it anytime you want, but it should be infuriating. The kind of people you're going to let in. You're okay with terrorists. You're not okay with refugees from a hurricane.
And the thing is, Whoopi, we were talking about it during the morning meeting when he said these are very bad people, drug dealers, gang members. And I turned to Whoopi and I said, well, is there any evidence of that? No. Because I'm thinking maybe he has some drug statistics. Maybe he has some gang violence statistics.
There was a warning issued at
but that was
February.
about like sexual assault and robbery.
But again,
I've been to the Bahamas a ton, as I think most people do. It's a gorgeous, safe country, islands, whatever.
But I think about people, and we all have people in our family and friends that voted for Trump. And I can't think of anyone. You don't know one person that did, or friends?
I thought you said family.
No, I said friends or people in your life that voted for Trump.
And you know who they are? They're the ones that say, I don't want to talk about politics. Those are the ones that say...
No, that's not true. That is not true. That is not true. I just had my in-laws stay at my apartment.
Well, that's your family, but in general...
But they represent a lot of people that I've spoken to around the country that voted for Trump, but they see this and that makes them sick. And this is where we are right now, that we can't put everyone, when he says that, in the Trump bucket of they stand by it and they would say the same thing.
Here's why it's tricky for people. And I think, remember during the march, folks were marching and people said, my brain is switched. I know. Charlottesville. And people said, well, you can't mark us as the people who feel the same way as the Trump people do.
Right.
And what folks said to them was, when you're marching with people who are holding signs that say, we don't want to...
Jews will not replace us.
Jews will not replace... If you're marching amongst them, it's hard to tell you apart. So I think it's very difficult for people who may have voted for Trump, who thought he was going to do something different. It's hard for them
and they tell me that.
Yes, I think it's very hard. But this is one of the things that you have to say to yourself, do I want this to be how people see the opposition? As the opposition becomes so horrible that we are no longer even able to look at something and say, this is wrong. There are things that we see in this administration that we know are wrong, that don't fit any conceivable concept of anything we've been raised with.
And can that voter stand up and say, it is wrong and I will no longer be complicit?
Well, that was the point.
They won't.
That was the point. Yes.
But I do think one thing that has always happened, at least with and I hear you very clearly, is that I'm obviously a Republican, very conservative. You've never treated me in any way but obviously incredibly respectful. And there are ways to have these conversations in a respectful way, but unfortunately, it's not happening from the top down.
Yes, it's not.
And I think that's what complicates things when those of us are trying to move the needle, especially in conservative circles, towards a different direction.
You're a Republican and you're a conservative.
I'm a hardcore conservative.
I know that, but you're not a Trump supporter.
No,
there's a difference. Have you seen it?
We gotta go.
No,
we'll be right back.
Later, beat around the bush. As Billy Bush returns to TV, he says the Access Hollywood tape was weaponized against him. Is he missing the point of the uproar against it? Okay, America, the wait is over because The View is back.
That's how I roll, okay?
Diving into every hot topic happening now. And this September, look who's coming to